together. Yes, and then we'll see it all together. Yeah. And then we'll do it. And then we'll They're coming together.
morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Well, good morning, everyone. This warm Sunday morning, there are fans available, this kind of fan, if you'd like one. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. We welcome you, whoever you are, whomever and however you love, and whatever you may or may not believe. My name is Peg Boyle, and I am the worship associate today. A special welcome to those of you who are joining us remotely from wherever you are, nearby or far away. During the summer, while our ministers are away, the worship committee hosts a series of services which are led by church members or friends, with music also provided by church members or friends. This morning, we are pleased to have Martha Rice Sanders and Nancy Worthen as our speakers. Nancy began her journey into Unitarianism at the Westminster Church in East Greenwich, where she and her daughter Margaret became active in the youth group. When Nancy moved to Providence in 2006, she became a member of First Unitarian under the leadership of James Ford, who encouraged her to bring Margaret, who was severely disabled at the time. After Margaret died, Nancy participated in and led mindful grieving groups, which she will be leading again in the fall. Besides making art, Nancy enjoys gardening and contra dancing. Martha joined First U when she moved to Rhode Island in 1993 and immediately joined the choir. Her sons went through the Sunday school program here. First U is where Martha met her husband, Bill Rice, and they were married nearly 24 years. In addition to her work as a librarian, Martha's passion include photography, reading, making and listening to music, biking, and visiting waterfalls. Both Martha and Nancy wanted everyone in a congregation to know that both tears and laughter are welcome here today. We are also delighted to have two musical groups this morning, Sally Rackett and the Grace Note Singers, and we are really thankful for your joining us. Now, let us center our hearts and minds as we begin our worship together.
In this heart lies for you
Thank you so much. We come from a long tradition of seeking the spark of the divine in each person. In that spirit, I invite you to greet your neighbors now in the meeting house. Just relax. Okay, everyone. Hey, everyone. Let's not forget to wave to the folks who are joining us remotely. All right. Please join me in the words printed in your order of service as we light our chalice this morning. Now let us share our covenant together. We, the members of First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light of many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the wide web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. Our first hymn this morning will be number 1009 in your teal hymnal.
The next part, when I breathe in, I then there's a top part for those who like to sing a little higher. And when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. You guys are awesome. So we're going to start with the drone, and then bring in the second part, and then bring in the third part. Sing whichever of those parts you want to. You can sing all three. Okay. So we're going to start again. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Keep going, you want to? Breathe. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. One more time. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Thank you so much.
Our first reading today is called Celebration by Earl Barfoot. The author is the father of our First U member, Jim Barfoot. Let there be laughter at my funeral. Let there be no body on display. It has been my body. I have enjoyed it, working, playing, loving for all these years. When I can no longer move it with life, it is not to be looked at, nor wept over. It is then useless to me and to be returned to the earth from which it came. Who knows what consciousness I may retain, or in what form myself may be possible? If I can hear you or see you or in some way be aware, I shall enjoy your laughter. I shall know that you have accepted saying goodbye and supported my leaving with your love. Smile in your remembering. This will be enough to make my leaving possible, enough to let me shed my body without pain or having to shed tears. I shall have had my life. I knew from the start that one day I would surrender it. Now, enjoy with me the fullness of that life and try to understand with me and celebrate with me. What a great gift it was. Please don't cry at my funeral, except as you remember the beauty of life, and cry as one does in the presence of mystery, of breathtaking beauty, of creation. But for my life, give thanks, with me, for me. Say, it is complete, it has been perfected, and laugh and sing with joy. We now hear the joys and sorrows of the people of our congregation as written in the book at the back of the meeting house of our church. Our partner church in Transylvania carved the beautiful candlestick for the large candle from which we light our individual candles of joy and sorrow. We have two candles today. One is for Martha Rice Sanders. Today would be my father, Robert Sanders' 98th birthday. My joy is the wonderful collaboration of so many present this service of the heart. An additional candle was lit, a candle of healing for my cousin Kathy, who was recovering at home after an operation. Friends, let us rest in gladness that we have each other to share in our joys and sorrows. It makes all the difference. Now is the time of our meditation. I will read poem Heavy by Mary Oliver, and then we'll observe some time of silent reflection, and then Martha will lead us again in song. Heavy. That time, I thought I could not go any closer to grief without dying. I went closer and did not die. Surely God had his hand in this, as well as my friends. Still I was bent, and my laughter, as the poet said, was nowhere to be found. Then said my friend Daniel, brave even among lions, it's not the weight you carry, it's how you carry it. Books, bricks, grief, it's all in the way you embrace it, balance it, carry it, when you could not and would not put it down. So I went practicing. Have you noticed? Have you heard the laughter that comes now and again out of my startled mouth? How I linger to admire, admire, admire the things of this world that are kind and also troubled. Roses in the wind, the sea geese on steep waves, a love to which there is no reply.
Join me if you'd like. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Good morning. So if I cry, it's fine. It's just what might happen, I just wanted to say. I think about living with loss quite a bit. I think we all do sometimes, because death and loss are present around us. We watch loved ones become sick and die. We lose jobs, and dear friends move away. We see or hear the news about war zones and airstrikes and deaths on both sides of conflicts. We visit hospitals, hospice centers, funeral homes, and cemeteries where our loved ones are. So many of you might not know this about me, but my brother, Craig, died in a car accident over 50 years ago when he was 20 years old, a junior at Brown University. He was my hero and guide as I followed in his footsteps growing up. My daughter Margaret died 9 years ago after having a severe stroke during her last week at Smith College. She and I had a wonderful relationship and spent time traveling together in Germany and Spain, as well as talking with each other about life. She was a planner like me. And my partner Barry, of 22 years, died over a year ago from cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. He is with me every day in our garden, sharing his advice and sometimes his criticism of what I'm doing, but he has a lot of wisdom, and I try to maintain his legacy of the beautiful garden we have. I learned so much from him about enjoying life and being grateful for simple pleasures. He was a kind and loving partner, and we danced every weekend. I survived these losses through the support of many friends surrounding me with love, and also because I keep these loved ones close to my heart by remembering them. After my brother died, I remember singing this song by Phil Oakes, which I'm going to try to sing. There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone, and I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone, and you won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here. This song reminds me of my resolve I made after my brother's death to live my life as fully as I can. And I continue with that resolve every day of my life. And more recently, I rely on my Buddhist practice to help me, which is something my daughter and I did together when she was in high school, and Barry and I also shared during our life together. One of the Buddhist teachings is called the 5 Remembrances, and here it is. I am of the nature to grow old. I am of the nature to have ill health. I am of the nature to die. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. My actions are my only true belongings. What I am doing now is embracing the comforting connection of my friends, neighbors, and family, as well as the comfort of my habits and familiar routines. I do my best to embrace change, although I don't always succeed. I also feel my feelings and talk about them, Holding in and holding back my emotions does not work for me. Right now, I am figuring out how to live this new life as a person whose partner in life has died. My regular companion is not beside me, so I travel alone sometimes and also gather new companions in my journey. I ask for help. I reflect and meditate. I cry and laugh. I go to church more. I also feel my loneliness when I sit down to dinner alone and spend quiet evenings at home. Some days are really hard. In fact, I am finding this year much more difficult than the first year Barry died. Perhaps at some point, I will feel the sweetness and peace of the quiet of my home rather than the loneliness. I remember my brother, my daughter, and my partner as I live this new life and find their presence in singing, dancing, meditating, gardening, being in nature, and enjoying the quiet in my beautiful yard. I tell stories about them and encourage others to do the same. I am grateful for the love that fills my heart when I remember them. Thank you for letting me share my story of grief and renewal. And as Peg mentioned, I will be facilitating a 6-week mindful grieving session this October to offer an opportunity for us to share and listen to stories about our loved ones who died. Now the Grace Note singers will share, "Let the Life I Live Speak for Me."
Let the life I live speak for me. Let the life I live speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay
First, a heartfelt thank you to Nancy, who has become a close friend putting together this service, the members of Sally Rackett, and the Grace Note Singers, and Peg for corralling us all. As we all reflect on putting the pieces together anew during this service. Here I go, tear time. In my reflections over the months since Bill died, I've thought about how everyone experiences the death of someone to whom they are in close relationship. And I see many of you here who've shared that feeling of grief and loss over the last months and years. I've been lucky until now that it had just been my parents, and that was normal. When Bill and I became a couple, I knew I was likely to outlive him. Not only was he 16 years older than I, but he had type 1 diabetes. They don't often live into their 70s, let alone their 80s. But that would be some undefined later. Later turned out to be 4 a.m. on Monday, January 29th. Here we go. Tears are good, by the way. I spent most of the previous day with him at the Hattie Ida Chafee Rehab, where he had moved the previous day from Rhode Island Hospital, coming home, my coming home, just to make cranberry pie, his favorite dessert, and returned with the pie and our dog, Kira. Bill was thrilled to reconnect with Kira after 3 weeks back in the hospital, and he thoroughly enjoyed eating the pie, though I had to feed him because his hands shook too much to feed himself. Kira and I went back home at 8 p.m. after I reminded Bill that the next day he would start the rehab program intended to get him stronger so he could rejoin us. He demanded 2 things: to get stronger and to come home. And those of you who know Bill know demanded was the appropriate word. At 4 a.m. that morning, I changed in a flash from asleep to awake. Not startled, just wide awake. I didn't know why. Kira hadn't barked. There were no loud noises coming from outside. I lay there quietly until the house phone rang an hour later. The house phone never rings. The nurse told me they had found Bill unexpectedly gone after a night of yelling that he wanted to go home. So what happened at 4? Bill came home, as he had demanded that he must. I have no need to explain or rationalize this. It happened. So now I reflect on the difference between moving forward and moving on. I'm still alive, so I move forward in time. I care for myself and for our home and gardens. At Every Day is Mother's Day concert this past May, we sang, "Keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, never turning back." Of course, that's about social justice, not the loss of a loved one. And I do turn back. I don't want to leave Bill behind. I don't want to move on from our relationship, our hopes and our plans and our dreams. He is with me in every room of our house, visible in all the work we did together on it. He is with me in the gardens, where changes that we made came from his vision of a place that feeds the body and the soul. He is with me here in this meeting house. In the 90s, he sat over there where Robert is now. In the 2000s, he and I sat over here or up in the choir loft. And most recently, right there, when he couldn't take the stairs anymore. Bill and I gave the support and space to one another that helped each of us become our best selves. And I am still that person, still changed by his love, and still here. So yes, I am moving forward, but I carry him with me so that I'm not moving on from him. And this is similar to how a river carries us forward. We will now hear the Grace Note singers sing about how healing waters will carry us home.
So one of the things that we do in mindful grieving is write a letter to our loved one. And I think maybe Rick Richards had that idea when we started mindful grieving. And I continue to do that, and I've written quite a few letters to my daughter. But this one is to my partner, Barry Robert Schumann. Dear Barry, I love you and remember you every day. I will always remember you. I remember your wonderful companionship throughout our life together. You were always calm, kind, and clear-headed, a great listener, smart, and funny. You were my best friend. I remember dancing with you. For the last 22 years, we have danced every weekend, and now I dance with others, but never with you. I remember how you took care of me. You cooked wonderful meals for me for 22 years. We created a bountiful garden together, and then you used our produce to make delicious and creative meals. So many ways to prepare eggplant, zucchini, and peppers, and so many sauces to make with our wealth of tomatoes, as you can imagine. I remember that when my daughter was ill, you made sure I took care of myself, and you were beside me through all the difficult times. I remember our many adventures, visiting your children and your 12 grandchildren, going to dances all over New England, visiting family and friends, and finding interesting roads through forests and mountains. I remember our intimacy. The first time we went on a date, I remember you held my hand and sparks flew. I always wanted to be close to you and to cuddle. I think about being without you in my life, and I feel sad and lonely. I'm not sure how I will continue, how I will feel like doing anything. Sometimes I don't want to garden. I don't want to take care of the chickens. Yes, we have chickens. He had chickens, but now I have chickens. Keep the house clean, do laundry. Oh, yeah, maybe not. Okay, go dancing. I don't want my life to be without you. Yet that is the reality, and I'm okay. I love you, Barry, and I will always remember you.
I swear Nancy and I could change places because we both had husbands who were passionate gardeners and cooks. You'll hear some similarities. Dear Bill, I miss you every day. I'm sorry we never traveled to the places you loved and that you wanted to share with me, Florence and Barcelona. But you specialized in cooking their foods that you learned to love there, risotto and paella. I would laugh that these are rice dishes. You'll be amused or pleased to know I am now making dinner for myself, branching out cautiously, trying recipes from the New York Times and the Washington Post. The rows of cookbooks you lovingly collected and I tried to organize, I am a librarian after all, seems daunting still. I'm not ready yet to try my hand at either risotto or paella. I miss you most at dinner time, talking with you about our days as you made dinner and I made salad, and continuing the conversation over dinner itself. Everywhere at home when I look, I see you. In the floors you'd put down, in the wainscoting you added, in the tiles you installed, at all the appliances you repaired, at your photographs, at the art we purchased and hung together, with each piece having its story, at the treadmill and the e-bike purchased so you could continue to work at staying fit. And when I move outside, I see you in the raised beds we built together and rebuilt together and rebuilt together to grow food, you, and flowers, me. The fruit trees and berry bushes planted everywhere. The bins for composting, 3 sizes of wheelbarrow. As my son Dan said at your memorial service, there is a right tool for everything. And I've been reflecting on that since he said it, because it is so true. Everywhere in the house I see 5 tools to do something because there was the right one for each task. I hear things and my immediate thought is I have to remember to tell you. News of our neighbors and friends. I wanted to tell you that bees have returned to our hive. I don't know how to manage the hive. That was your knowledge. I want to tell you that our peach trees and blueberry bushes are covered with growing fruit, and the garlic scapes we're ready to harvest. We built all this to tend together. When you were too unsteady to go outside anymore, I would bring you news of the gardens. I so miss bringing that news and seeing the look of joy on your face that you yet again were right. I sit in the sunroom and imagine you sitting by my side still, sipping a glass of wine and commenting on what a beautiful place we'd created together. You would say it with such awe, as if that was not something you had imagined. We did it together, for each other. When I woke up at 4 a.m. the morning you died, I didn't know then, but I know now that you came home. Perhaps your awakening was your kiss. Perhaps it was to tell me that, as Tom, I see you back there, said to me, "I told you I could get home," taking that action onto yourself. I will continue to tend our home and our land for us both. I love you still.
Now is the time for our offering, because we have been warmed by fires we did not build. We have drunk at wells we did not dig. and we have gathered in fellowship in this space that is far older than any of us assembled. But it is in this space that we create and recreate anew bonds that teach us to love each other. We pass our collection baskets now to make a community expression of our thanks for our many blessings, for those we have witnessed and for those yet to come. The morning offering for the work of this congregation will be generously given and gratefully received. And as always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all that you are. Our service next Sunday will be led by Sadie Swayze, and it is entitled Cartoons, Childhood, and Connection. We look forward to seeing you then. Be sure to check the First U Times, our weekly newsletter that is the single source for news, events, and everything that is happening here at First Unitarian. First U is sent by email to all members, friends, and others who sign up to receive it. You can access it and sign up through our church website or fill out a guest registry card at the welcome table in the meeting house. Our closing words today are another poem by Mary Oliver, Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and clear pebbles of the rain are moving across landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Please join me in the words printed in your order of service as we extinguish our chalice.
We are all just walking each other home. 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 We are all just walking each other home.
Please join us for refreshments in the courtyard between the two buildings here.